So even though on April 29, 2026, we saw darkness coming from the Supreme Court, but I need to let you know that our God has a history of shedding light on dark court cases. You don't believe me? In 1857, Dred Scott versus Sanford, the Supreme Court ruled that enslaved people were property, not citizens. But guess what? The light eventually outshined that decision. Following the Colfax Massacre of 1873, this happened in Louisiana, over 150 black people were killed. And in 1876, U.S. versus Cruikshank, the court ruled that the Bill of Rights did not apply to individuals or states, and it severely weakened federal protection for black citizens, and it prevented protection of black citizens from voting violence and voter suppression. That happened in 1876. But eventually, the light would outshine that decision. The United States versus Reese in 1876, the court ruled that the 15th Amendment did not guarantee citizens' right to vote, but merely listed and prohibited grounds for denying suffrage, allowing states to use poll taxes and literacy tests on black people to prevent them from voting. But guess what? Eventually, the light outshined that decision. What I'm trying to tell you is light is more powerful than darkness. That's why we need to be the light. In 1883, Pace versus Alabama, it upheld state laws prohibiting interracial marriage. But eventually, the light would outshine that decision. And in 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson ruled that separation based on race was equal, and it led to the Jim Crow laws. But eventually, the light would eventually outshine that decision. In Cummings versus Richmond in 1899, the Richmond School District closed the only black school in that area, and the black students tried to go to the white schools, but the court ruled that if there are no black schools in that area, then black students would have to be uneducated. But eventually, the light shined on that decision. What I'm trying to let you know is light is power, and it is more powerful than darkness. There's darkness simply because there's not enough people shining that light. We're supposed to be the light. Be a presence of calm. Be a presence of reason. Be a presence of hope. Be a presence of encouragement. Be a presence of truth. Be a presence of fairness. Be a presence of compassion. Be the light. Walk in the light. That beautiful light that shines all around us by day and by night. Jesus is the light of the world, and we need you to stand up and be a light. Be a light. You are called to be the light of the world. Amen.